Hey everyone, welcome to our deep dive all about Eastern Europe's tech scene.
Yeah.
You wanted all the details on why it seems like everyone's saying this region is the next big software development hub, right?
Uh-huh.
We've got like articles, reports, even some infographics here.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so we've got a lot to get through, but don't worry.
Yeah.
At the end, you'll know why everyone's talking about this boom and like what it all means for like the future of tech, you know?
It's a big change.
Yeah.
Think about it. Eastern Europe went from um, being known for like budget-friendly outsourcing
Right.
to having something like 3.5 million ICT specialists.
Wow.
That's more than India. And we're
Wow.
not even talking about like just numbers here. The
Right.
quality of the developers is really exceptional.
Yeah, that was surprising to me too.
Really.
Yeah, it's one thing to hear about it, but seeing the numbers puts it in perspective.
Right.
But what I find really interesting is that this isn't just a fluke.
Yeah.
It's been building for years.
For years.
So what's behind all of this? What's pushing Eastern Europe ahead of like the established tech countries like India?
Well, it's a few things.
Yeah.
Location plays a role.
Yeah.
And also how Eastern Europe's culture is pretty aligned with like the West.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the big thing is the talent.
The talent.
Yeah, and if you dig deeper, you see it goes back to how much they emphasize STEM education.
Mm.
Eastern Europe produces more than 80,000 tech graduates each year.
80,000. That's huge. So we've got a ton of highly educated tech people.
Yes.
But are we just talking about people who can like code basic things?
Or
Or are these like seriously skilled developers who can compete globally?
that's a good question.
Yeah, because honestly, some people might still think Eastern Europe is just a place to get cheap labor.
And that's what makes this so interesting. Yeah, if you look at like global rankings from HackerRank and Top Coder,
Mm-hmm.
you see that Eastern European developers are always ranked among the best in the world.
Wow.
And they're not just meeting expectations, they're exceeding them.
Interesting.
Yeah, in terms of
Yeah.
technical skills and problem solving.
So, okay, let's say I'm a company and I want to like work with these developers. What should I expect? Can they just build basic websites or can they handle tougher projects?
Oh, they can do way more than just basic websites.
Okay.
They're good at everything.
Yeah.
From like front-end and back-end development to full-stack engineering,
Oh, wow.
mobile app development, AI, blockchain, you name it.
So they can do it all.
Yeah, and remember, they have that strong education.
Right.
And they always want to learn more and get better.
So they're not just good technically.
Right.
They're also adaptable and want to like push the limits of what's possible.
Exactly.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But I have to ask, if they're always ranked so high globally,
Yeah.
are they actually still as affordable as they used to be? I mean, talent like that is usually expensive.
That's true.
Yeah,
As demand for Eastern European developers goes up,
right.
that cost advantage is getting smaller.
Makes
Salaries are rising,
Yeah.
and companies have to offer more competitive packages to keep the best people.
So it's not about finding cheap labor anymore.
No.
It's more about like recognizing how good these developers are and being willing to invest in them.
Exactly.
But what does that investment actually look like? Is it just about paying them more or is it more than that?
It's definitely more than just offering a higher salary.
Okay, I like that.
Companies that want to like be successful in this market need to think holistically.
Okay, break that down for us. What does a holistic approach to like attracting and keeping Eastern European developers actually look like?
I think it starts with understanding like what motivates them.
Yeah,
It's not all about the money.
right.
It's about having the chance to work on challenging projects,
Mhm.
to learn new skills,
Yeah.
and to be part of a company culture that values innovation and creativity.
So it's about both sides winning,
Yeah,
giving them a fulfilling job while also getting their amazing skills.
exactly.
But let's get practical. What are some real things companies can do to get and keep Eastern European developers? Is it like ping pong tables and free snacks? Or is there more?
Those perks are nice,
Yeah.
but it takes more than that.
Okay, so what's really important?
Things like opportunities for professional development,
Okay.
like sponsoring certifications, offering mentorship programs, and sending them to industry conferences.
Yeah, I see.
Those things show them that you're invested in their growth,
Yeah.
not just their output.
So you're saying it's about showing them that you value them as people
Yes.
and that you care about their long-term success, not just seeing them as like a way to get work done.
Exactly.
And it's also about having a good company culture,
Yeah.
one that has work-life balance, open communication, and recognizes and rewards their hard work.
That's it.
It sounds like getting and keeping the best people in Eastern Europe is becoming more like a partnership, not just a boss-employee relationship.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Companies are realizing that they need to try to get the best people to work for them.
Yeah.
It's not the other way around anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely a candidate's market.
It is.
But let's look at the bigger picture here for a second.
Well,
We've talked about the talented people and how to recruit them,
Right.
but what about the actual work they're doing? Are they just doing whatever Western companies tell them to do, or are they doing their own innovative projects?
That's what we'll talk about next.
Great.
Get ready for some really inspiring stories of Eastern European companies doing amazing things in the tech world.
All right, listeners, we're just getting started. We'll be back in a minute with more about the exciting world of Eastern European tech.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere.
We'll be right back. So I'm excited to get into the actual work these developers are doing.
Yeah, me too.
It's one thing to talk about rankings and stuff,
Right.
but let's see the projects they're working on.
Yeah, I want to hear some real-world examples.
Okay.
Are they just following orders from Western companies, or are they doing their own innovative things?
It's both.
Okay.
But what's cool is that more Eastern European companies are leading these big projects,
Like what?
like this Romanian company, Andava.
Endava.
Yeah, they totally changed mobile payments in these emerging markets
Wow.
for a huge global fintech company.
Hold on, tell me more about that.
Okay, so they combined cutting-edge UI UX design
Uh-huh.
with custom software
Okay.
to make this mobile payment system that was easy to use but also secure.
Nice.
This opened up financial services to so many people who couldn't use banks before.
Wow, that's a great example of how these developers are using their skills to help people.
Yeah.
They're not just building apps, they're building solutions.
Exactly. And this is happening all over the region.
Really?
Remember Scaleups, that Ukrainian company we talked
Yeah.
about? They're doing some cool stuff with AI and blockchain.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Okay.
We hear about AI and blockchain all the time,
Uh-huh.
but I want to know how these developers are actually using them.
So Scaleups is working with Google and Accenture,
Oh, wow.
building all sorts of things.
Like what?
AI-driven solutions for healthcare and finance, blockchain platforms for managing supply chains and sharing data securely.
So they're not just following trends,
No.
they're creating the future of tech.
Right.
That's pretty amazing.
It is.
But can we go back to the basics for a minute?
Sure.
You mentioned front-end, back-end, full stack.
Yes.
Can you explain what those are for people who might not know?
Of course. Think of it like building a house.
Okay.
The front end is what you see and touch.
Okay.
The walls,
Okay.
the paint, the furniture.
Got it.
That's what front-end developers focus on, making it look good and easy to use.
So they make websites and apps look good and be easy to use.
Exactly. Now, the back end is the foundation, the plumbing, the electrical stuff, the things you don't see but need to make the house work.
I see.
Back-end developers work on that part, making sure data is safe and everything runs smoothly behind the scenes.
So they're the brains making sure everything works.
Yes. And then you have full-stack developers who can do both,
Wow.
like a general contractor who can build the whole house.
So they're super versatile.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of full stack developers in Eastern Europe?
Yeah. They're becoming more common.
Wow.
Shows how they can adapt and learn new things.
So if you need a website, a complex app, or a strong back-end system,
Uh-huh.
you can find experts in Eastern Europe.
You can.
It's like a one-stop shop.
It is.
Okay. Well, we've talked a lot about skills and stuff.
Yeah.
But what about the quality of the work? Are they actually good?
That's a great question. And from what I've seen, the answer is yes.
Okay.
Eastern European developers are known for writing really good code.
Oh, okay.
And they pay attention to details.
Right.
And they're committed to making reliable code.
So it's not about being fast and cheap.
Right.
It's about doing it right.
Yes, but how do we know that's true?
Yeah.
Well, their education is really strong, which gives them a deep understanding of coding.
And they're doing better than other developers in those coding tests.
That's right. And we see companies who are really happy with the work they get from Eastern Europe.
So that old idea of you get what you pay for isn't true here.
Exactly. It's time to rethink what we think about Eastern European developers.
Yeah.
They're not just a cheap option.
Right.
They're top talent who deliver amazing results.
Speaking of amazing results, what about innovation? We keep hearing about Eastern European companies pushing the boundaries.
Yes.
Can you give us some examples? Are they copying Silicon Valley or are they coming up with their own ideas?
They're definitely coming up with their own ideas.
Okay.
One example is this Ukrainian company called Deposit Photos.
Deposit photos?
Yeah. They made an AI platform that analyzes images
Wow.
and suggests keywords so businesses can find the perfect visuals for their marketing.
That's really smart.
It is. And there's this Polish company, Brainly.
Right.
They made a social learning platform where students can connect and get help with homework.
So they're using tech to make education better for everyone.
Yeah. So they're not just building cool tech, they're
Right.
building tech that helps society.
That's really cool.
It is. But let's get practical again.
Okay.
If a company wants to hire these developers, how do they do it?
Yeah. What's it like to recruit in Eastern Europe?
It's unique, and there are definitely some things to figure out.
Oh, like what? What are the best ways to find and hire these people?
Well, the usual methods like LinkedIn and job boards still work.
Okay.
But to find the best people, you have to do more.
Okay, what else can you do?
Specialized platforms are becoming really popular.
What are those? How do they work?
They bring together people from lots of recruitment agencies.
Okay.
So you can see a lot of candidates who have already been checked out.
So it's easier and faster?
Exactly.
Are there any platforms you'd recommend?
One that's getting a lot of attention is called Unbench.
Unbench.
They work with more than 20 agencies and have a good track record.
What about just working directly with those agencies?
That's still a great option,
Okay.
especially local ones that specialize in tech.
Mm-hmm.
They know the market and where to find the best people.
Makes sense. What about those freelance websites like Upwork and Fiverr?
Those are good for short-term projects
Okay.
or for finding people with very specific skills.
Right.
But for long-term full-time roles, I'd focus on the other stuff we talked about.
Got it. But what about finding future talent? Like, how can companies get ahead of the game?
Working with universities and tech schools is a great way to do that.
Like how?
Offer internships, sponsor hackathons, create scholarships.
I see.
That helps you connect with talented students and maybe hire them later.
So it's a long-term plan.
It is,
Yeah.
but it can really pay off.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about ways to find people.
Right.
But hiring is always tough.
Yeah, that's true. What are some of the challenges companies face when hiring in Eastern Europe?
I think the biggest one is that everyone wants these skilled developers.
Yeah, we talked about that.
It's a candidate's market.
Mm-hmm.
Companies need to be ready to move fast and make good offers.
So you can't just post a job and wait.
No, you have to be proactive.
What does that mean? Like, what can companies do to stand out?
First, you need to offer good salaries.
Of course. You can't get top talent with low pay.
Right. But it's more than just money.
What else?
Benefits and perks are important.
Okay.
Things like health insurance, stock options, flexible work hours, professional development money. Those things can make a difference.
So it's about showing them you care about them.
Yes. And the work itself matters too.
Okay.
Eastern European developers want to work on challenging and meaningful projects.
So if you're doing cutting-edge stuff or solving tough problems,
Yeah.
you'll get better people.
Right. And don't forget about company culture.
That's true.
Developers want to feel valued and respected.
Yeah.
They want to be part of a team.
Okay, so showing off your company culture, highlighting growth opportunities, and making a good environment.
Mhm.
Those are all important.
Exactly. It's about both sides winning.
Yeah, it's a different way of thinking about hiring.
It is. Okay, so we talked about why Eastern Europe is booming,
Right.
what they're working on and how to hire them.
Mm-hmm.
But where do we go from here? What's next for Eastern Europe's tech hub?
That's the big question.
It is. The potential is huge,
Yeah.
but there are also challenges.
Okay, so listeners, we're going to talk about the future of Eastern European tech now.
Yes.
We'll be right back to see how this tech hub could change the whole world.
It's going to be interesting.
Stay with us. All right, everyone, welcome back. We talked about the talent, the innovative projects, everything coming out of Eastern Europe.
It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about what this all means for, like, the bigger picture, you know?
It's actually really interesting when you think about it.
Yeah.
Eastern Europe becoming like this tech center is changing everything.
Okay, so how? What are we talking about here?
Well, for one, it's changing where all the tech talent is.
Okay.
We're not just seeing innovation in a few places like Silicon Valley or London anymore.
So it's more spread out.
Exactly.
What does that mean for companies and developers in those, like, traditional tech hubs?
They're feeling the pressure. Companies in the West can't just relax anymore. They
Right.
have to try harder to get and keep the best people.
So they have to pay more, offer better benefits, things like that.
Or create a better work environment, you know?
So everyone has to improve?
Right. And that's good for developers.
Yeah, I see that.
Now developers have more choices.
Okay.
They can ask for more money, better benefits, and they can work on projects they're actually passionate about.
So everyone wins except maybe the companies that don't change.
Exactly. If companies don't adapt, they're going to have a tough time.
Yeah. That makes sense. But it's not just about companies and developers, right?
No,
This is changing global tech trends, too.
absolutely. Eastern Europe is becoming a leader in AI, blockchain, cybersecurity, all those big things.
So they're not just learning, they're shaping how these things develop.
Yes. And they're using them to solve real problems.
So they're not just following trends?
Nope. They're leading the way.
Why is that? What's so special about Eastern Europe?
I think they just have this entrepreneurial spirit. They're not afraid to take risks, try new things, challenge how things are done.
That's cool.
And they're also very practical.
In what way?
They want to solve actual problems, not just chase the latest fads.
I like that. Okay, so we talked about how this affects companies, developers, global trends. But what about Eastern Europe itself? How's this boom changing things there?
It's changing everything. It's creating good jobs, attracting investments, boosting the economy.
Wow.
It's giving young people opportunities they never had before.
That's great.
And it's helping people live better lives.
It's amazing how much tech can change things.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's not just the economy.
Well,
It's also education and infrastructure.
Yeah.
Governments are putting more money into STEM education to train more tech workers.
makes sense.
And they're also investing in digital infrastructure to support all this growth.
So it's like a chain reaction of good things.
Yes. It's a really exciting time to be in Eastern Europe.
For sure. Okay, but like any growing market, there must be challenges, right?
Oh, yeah.
What could stop Eastern Europe from continuing to grow in tech?
Well, political stability is always something to watch.
Right?
Economic problems can also slow things down.
Makes sense.
And there's the risk of brain drain.
What's that?
That's when talented people leave for better opportunities somewhere else.
So they need to keep things stable, keep investing in education and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they need to keep encouraging innovation and entrepreneurship.
Okay, so looking ahead, what do you think will happen?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
One possibility is that Eastern Europe just keeps getting bigger and bigger in tech.
Oh.
Maybe even rivaling Silicon Valley someday.
Wow. Do you really think that could happen?
I don't know, but it's possible.
Yeah.
They have the talent, the drive, and the momentum.
What would that look like? More big Eastern European tech companies going global.
Probably. We're already seeing it with companies like UiPath from Romania.
Use iPad.
Yeah, they're doing robotic process automation,
Cool.
and they're making a big impact globally.
Yeah.
I think there are many more companies that could become global players.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yes. But of course, things could change.
How so?
Well, there are external factors like global recessions or wars.
Right.
Those things can definitely impact growth. And internally, they need to avoid too much bureaucracy and keep investing in education and infrastructure.
So there are risks, but also huge potential.
Exactly. But even with the risks, it's clear that Eastern Europe is becoming a major force in tech.
Yeah.
And that's only going to continue.
So there you have it, everyone. Eastern Europe is the place to watch.
It is.
It's full of innovation, talent, and opportunities.
Yeah, and it shows how much the tech world is changing.
Right. New tech hubs are popping up all over.
That's right.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been fun.
We hope you learned something new and interesting about Eastern European tech.
Yeah.
Keep exploring and keep learning.